Hey, what is up? Today is Saturday, December 9th, 2017. I figured I would take some time to share with you all how I almost crashed my DJI Spark and why I ended up picking up a Mavic Pro again. Let's get into it. I picked up a Mavic Pro again. I used to have a Mavic Pro. I picked it up right around February with the Fly More combo, and I actually ended up selling it and picking up a Spark because I thought that the Spark could kind of fulfill all my needs as far as drone flying and, you know, just hobbyist photography and flying. I am by no means a professional. However, what I realized with the Spark is that if you're trying to fly straight just with the sticks, it would actually start drifting whichever way the wind blows, especially over water, because I have to disable the downward positioning sensors. Now, it's argued that disabling the downward positioning sensors over water is not necessary, and even DJI took that out of their, I guess, disclaimer in the settings when you open up the app on your phone. I noticed that I can fly a lot more straight with this, especially in tight winds. So I'm gonna show you all how I almost crashed this and how I was able to recover without crashing it. Now you take a quick look at the drone here. There is not one nick on it, and that's because I didn't panic and I was able to kind of get it out of a tight space because it's so small. If the same thing happened to this drone would have been gone. If I were to be flying this drone and there was a gust of wind coming, it's less likely for this thing to be blown around. Now I understand people have done these, these wind tests, and somebody's used a leaf blower and blown at this and the Spark and all that stuff. But what I realized is, that might not be real world, because I'm not just hovering, I'm moving. And so if I'm moving and the drone continues to drift into a bunch of tree branches, which is what happened and which is what is happening in this video. So as you can see, the drone is not flying straight. Now I am having it faced towards me and I'm on the other side of the hiking path, and it's just drifting backwards and backwards and backwards. And I remembered my fiance, Carrie, she looked at me and she's like, Danny, this thing, it's about to hit the tree. And by that point, it was already too late. It was already stuck between the branches. Now, going back to it, the saving grace of this is it's a lot smaller than the Mavic. See, if I unfold the Mavic, and I'm sure you all have seen this a million times, the Mavic is, it's small and compact when it's folded, but it's huge when it's unfolded. I mean, it's not that much different than the Phantom, right? The Phantom series drones are taller, but they're pretty big in wingspan. You see the difference? So if I'm flying between the branches, and again, I'm gonna show you the clip, you can kind of see me trying to get under and out. This has a much wider wingspan, so it would have absolutely hit all those branches and took a nosedive. So this is how I almost crashed my Spark. I wasn't paying attention when I was flying it, and I was just flying forward, looking at the first person view that's coming straight out of the camera feed. As long as I see myself, I'm okay. But what I didn't really pay attention to was that the wind was slowly blowing the Spark backwards. Now, I'm sure I'm gonna hear in the comment section below, you should have been paying attention, you should have been doing X, Y, and Z. The whole point of this video is to tell you that it is not possible to fly perfectly straight with the Spark. There's too much wind to account for, and the Spark is way too light. Now, this is why I ended up picking up the Mavic. I also picked up the Mavic for a couple other reasons. First, it was on sale, and I got a fantastic deal on Amazon. Second is the Mavic's camera is far superior. On my past videos, I have mentioned that the Spark and the Mavic cameras are not that different. However, they kind of are. Now, when taking long exposure shots on the Spark, I need to adjust the shutter speed. The problem is when I adjust the shutter speed, the Spark cannot stabilize left and right. So I end up getting this jagged footage, especially on long exposure shots. This thing is fantastic for what it is, but there are a lot of limitations. So on Black Friday, I ended up buying a second Spark. And the reason why I did that is just in case anything ever happened to this, I could have another one. And I was having problems with this one. I thought I might have to send this one back. And the Spark was $400 on Black Friday. I actually think it's $400 right now as well, but it was a good deal. Now, what I quickly realized is the Spark is a completely different animal than the Mavic. And me thinking, man, I could sell my Mavic, which I did, to get the Spark, I realized, oh my gosh, they serve completely different purposes. Everybody does, you know, these types of comparison videos between both of them. There's really nothing to compare outside of the fact that they both fly in the sky and they take video and pictures. Outside of that, they couldn't be more different. This, I would not say it's a professional tool, because the Phantom 4 Professional kind of blows both of these out of the water. From a standpoint and a perspective of, I want to be able to take a picture and frame it and blow it up to 25 inches, 27 inches in a frame, this is not going to look nearly as good as this. Just because of the 3-axis gimbal and stabilization in this camera, it just makes pictures look better. Even though this one takes pictures, I'm pretty sure at a 4K resolution, as does this, as does the Mavic, I'm hard pressed to say that this thing takes anywhere near as good pictures as this. I'm not saying that the Spark is incapable of taking good pictures. I'm just saying that the stabilization of this is the biggest problem with this drone. Now, the third thing, and I'm sorry I'm going down the list, and this is actually the final reason why I got the Mavic again, is the battery life. Now, I would fly out within line of sight, of course, and I would try to take a good shot. The problem is, by the time I got to the destination that I wanted to take a picture or take a nice video or a slight time lapse, it was time to bring it back. This, I flew this yesterday, and I did not feel that at all. This is rated 27 minutes, this is rated 16 minutes. Realistically, I'm able to get 11 or 12 minutes. Realistically, I'm able to get over 20, 22 minutes, I would say. So this is 10 minutes longer than this. That's a lot, especially when you're flying in the sky. Every minute counts. So I'm not discounting the Spark at all. But I wanted to share a couple things with you all. This is how I almost crashed the Spark, and this is what pushed me to get the Mavic. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I hope some of you found this helpful. I'm not bashing one or the other, but what I will say is this. When you're looking in YouTube and you're trying to find a comparison video between both of these, don't waste your time. This is a completely different animal than this. There is no comparison to them outside of the fact that they are fun to fly and they're both videography and photography tools. But this is far more superior than this. Peace.